G'day YouTube, my name's Lance. Welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report. Look, it hasn't been too bad. We're looking at 23 to 30 degrees C today. We've had no, I shouldn't say no rain, but early in the week there was a couple of scuds with 3 millimetres in them. Yeah, it sort of burned off before it does any good. We've been watering the orchard out there, just trying to keep things going out there. So yeah, when we do get any rain, yeah, it'll sort of help and boost the orchard along. The big tank out the back of the shed there's been overflowing, just dribbling over of a morning. With Bundy Bear's shed here is 300 square metres of roof area, and yeah, so just a heavy dew and the tank gets a little trickle in it. But just the other day we were out the back buggering around and had a look up, and some of the guttering about halfway along at the back there's got a rust hole in it from probably leaves I haven't got out or something like that, so I might have to deal with that. But this week they're saying showers today, but you wouldn't know it. It is a little bit humid, but the sun's coming up. There's hardly a cloud in the sky just at present, and it looks like a nice day coming up, so we'll just see what happens. Over the weekend I've watered most of the orchard. I've still got a couple of the bigger trees to do, so once I've done the stew I'll go and turn the pump on, and just so you haven't got that buzzing in the background sort of thing, so see what happens. Yeah, last stew, the sound I don't know what happened. The sound's been working okay all week. The Tascam D60 I think it is, or 60D, it just got to 15 minutes, then it just said couldn't write the card anymore, so I don't know what's going on there. I've pulled the card out, I've run through it on my computer and put it back, and it seems to be working fine, so hopefully we got sound. If not, the camera's fairly close away from me here, so it does take a sound bite, so the camera, well, the last week's stew had just a sound bite from the camera only. But through the week I've been doing a little bit of filming, and with the filming, look, it all seems to have gone all right with it, so time will tell. You might have some shit audio coming up, who knows. But, pardon me. But I'm sitting up this end here where I normally sit, but I've got a couple of frames here, and as you know I've been talking about doing the grill on the 135, and okay, as I just had to shoot off and get my phone. As you know, I've been looking at doing the grill on the Massey 135, and it's had a 14-inch grill in it, and I just copied what was in it back in the day, I can recall. Well, that's what I think happened anyway. It might have had a brain fart. And anyway, it's supposed to have a 13-inch grill in it, and the information I actually bothered to have a look through the week, and my serial number is 42948, and that should have a 13-inch grill. Now, up to serial number 400,000, they had a 13-inch grill because they had the smaller fuel tank. Over 400,000, so 400,001 onwards, they had a 14-inch grill and they had the bigger fuel tank. Mine has a swept axle, so the swept back axle, not the later straight axle. So the swept front axle was up to serial number 140,128. So that tells us that all swept axles should have a, all swept back axles should have a 13-inch grill. And after serial number 400,000, when they changed the numbering system on the 135s, that's when they went to the straight, no, they were a straight axle before that, that's when they went to the 14-inch grill and the bigger fuel tank. I think, and look, don't quote me on this, I think they went from 43 to 47 litres or something like that. The tank got a little bit bigger, so they put the bigger grill and worked like that. So, pardon me, so my 135 there, it should have a 13-inch grill. Now, if you remember way back when I got the first Quality Tractor Parts bonnet for that tractor, it was shit. Remember the gaps? I did a video on it, there's a video back there somewhere about it, and I painted the tractor and I left the bonnet for a while because it was bloody annoying crap out of me. And but over time I ended up tidying up that bonnet, and I spent a lot of time on all the gaps and things like that. But I think it came with a 13-inch grill, and I probably put a 14-inch one in. I think it's getting back a bit now. So I had to look up in Bundy Bear's bloody archives, and I had two 13-inch grills. So that's 13-inch from here to here. Now, if you're an interesting thing, I don't know whether you know or not, but when you're looking at tractors on Marketplace or on Google, have a look at the gap here. If the gap here is only about an inch, it's a 13-inch grill model, so you know it's before 140,000 serial number. But it's quite easy to spot the larger black section, top and bottom, on them. But this was a quality tractor parts grill, and I'm using the door out of the centre there. I don't know if I have two doors or not, but I had two grills tucked away. So I've spent the time, I've spent the time over the last couple of days trying to get a nice grill ready. And so the grill I've got hanging up there ready for paint, I've filmed starting it. So yeah, some of the things, when you bring the side panel, yep, this is the one. When you bring the side panel down, the tits on here and here hold it out, and that's what makes the gap. So I run the belt sander down there and things like that, and I think I've got a good grill there now. It'll tidy up nicely. And these side panels, this pair of side panels here that come with this grill, they curl away down near the pivot here too much, and you end up with about it's a good 10mm gap there. The sides I've cleaned up. I have panel beaded back a bit to pull the gaps right in. And look, it wasn't that hard to do. I know you probably shouldn't need to do that. People expect to buy something and just put a grill straight on their tractor. But yeah, look, if you're a tinkerer and you're painting tractors, well, I imagine you'd probably be capable of making a decent job of it. But this here, I just, because of this area here, that's very hard to get straight again. So, I don't know, I'll put these back in the archives and see. Now, the lower apron on the grills, you can see I've played with this one in the past, trying to get it all lined up and to get it tidied up. And this corner here, that's quite rough. Like it's not facet so much, but there's a low spot in here. It's all knuckly, you know, bumpy through here and through there, and there's a low spot there. And also, when it comes down here, there's actually a low spot. There's a dish right along here where where the mould, or I don't know how they do it. So that comes through. So I picked the best one of those. And you'll notice that there's no hole in here. When you look at the photos of all the tractors, they do have a hole here. That hole's pretty good. I ended up doing one of these stepped hole saws down through, and then to get the rolled edge, I put a big socket underneath and brought not that socket obviously, I brought another socket down through to roll the edge. And the edge is pretty good, but when you look hard, just there's a slight high spot. And I've buggered around with it trying to get it down. I can't quite get it, but I might just run a half round file or something down there just to get that, but you'd have to be looking to see it. This had the dish in here as well, so I've panel beaded that. I've slowly tapped and got that straight. The corners were similar, but I've managed to sand most of them out. The line comes along the bottom there, and you can see it just a little kick down there. Not that you'll see it, but I might be able to pull that back a little bit yet. We'll see how we go. But I've had a look at the other tractors, and they all have a little bit of a bunch up here, because yeah, when you have a straight panel and you've got to shrink it down in, well, the metal's got to go somewhere. So they all do have a slight little mark around there. So this is CRC Primate, and look, I like this stuff. It reminds me, and I don't know that it's not the same. Actually, there's a difference there. This tag sits up a little bit, so I might be able to drop that back down out of the way in case it fouls. I didn't notice it fouling the other day. But yeah, I use this this CRC Primate. I don't have the can here, it's over near the doorway where I've been using it. And to me, it reminds me of the old red oxide. You remember years ago, whenever there was a piece of steel you had to neutralise, or you wanted it to last out in the weather, you used red oxide. My mate Davey Rocket Recco, he was painting his Chamberlain and he thought he'd get a bit fancy and put a bit of spray putty and things like that on, but yeah, he just couldn't get a nice job, couldn't get the paint to stick properly. And I think he was, I don't know, but he may have been using like an acrylic base instead of an enamel base. But he was having trouble getting the paint to stick, and I ended up telling him in the end, I said, Dave, just if you're having trouble, just try putting red oxide, this stuff, this CRC Primate on, and see how you go. Well, he did the whole panel in that, sanded it back, it looks $1 million. Yeah, so I decided to do it on this. All the side panels in this piece have it on. It should be, it's a good base to put an enamel paint on. It neutralises it. I haven't put the rust converter under these side panels. I sanded them right back to bare metal. Now, I don't know what paint this is, but oh, it is shit. You sandblast it, and it's like a powder coat. And if you've ever sandblasted powder coat, you'll notice that it just doesn't come off like paint. You've got to push an edge off, sort of thing. And when you sandblast this stuff, it takes the top off, but the bottom doesn't want to come off. So I decided in the end I'd just use my sanders, you know, my 3-inch row lock with 60 grit in it to sand it all back. And even though it's tough stuff, like on my 135 up there where it's starting to bubble, you'd get sections of it, and as you come through it, you could just see the rusty area under it where it hadn't been prepared properly, or it had been sitting for a while before they painted it. So I imagine without painting it, the paint would have come off. Yeah, like mine probably bubbled up over time, like on the 14-inch grill on the 135. So I've sanded them all back to bare metal, all in through here, everywhere it's bare metal as much as I could get. On the insides here, down there, I couldn't tidy up much, and the sandblaster didn't want to touch it. But the red oxide seems to have bitten in well, so I think we're good. And maybe today we'll get the silver on them. We'll just see what the day throws up. We don't know. The grill and the door, I've sanded all the top of the paint off, sanded the inside, and the paint on the grill door, I put it in the sandblaster, and it wasn't like normal paint, it was coming off in like a sheet. Yeah, funny stuff. I don't know what they do in these factories, but it may just be, you know, all hung up in a powder coating process or something like that. I don't know, but it's just different to just sanding a normal bonnet or something like that. So I've got the grill that I'm using and the door all tidied up. I've got CRC rust converter. Oh, I can't even show you any of that. Got them unorganised today. Some rust converter on it, hanging under the boat on my spray booth. So this morning I'm hoping to blow a bit of black enamel over that and then let that dry. Then when we get ready to paint silver on all this, we'll be right to go. I haven't done any headlight mounts yet, you know, the shroud around the outside of the headlight. I'm hoping to do that this morning, pull the lights off the 135 and do that, but I am hoping to get this grill fully done, fully assembled, and then just slide it in one hit, one off, one on the 135 so it doesn't drag on. So we'll see what happens there. I have a lot of plans that just turn to shit. I get in another direction or something else happens, I get parts for another job, so I head there. A prime case would be the 65 battery box and tank that I showed you last week. Not put a spanner on it, not gone near the thing. But I have shifted the big engine that I've been doing for the club, and I haven't done anything on that this week really. No, I don't think I have. But I've got the MF20 turned around, and through the week I've filmed just a quick look at what I did on the to diagnose that the lift cover had to come off. I've taken the lift cover off, and we've filmed all this, so there'll be a little bit of a series on it on the MF20. And where there was a bolt missing on the lift cover, where the cylinder bolt's on, well, that bolt was broken off. The other bolt on the front was broken off. The lift cover had kicked, or the cylinder had kicked down and bent the back bolts. Hadn't broken it by the looks, but where you have your main frame on the side that your spring and all go to, the spring I found in the bottom, because it had kicked that whole housing back and let the spring drop down into the bottom of the gearbox. So I've ordered some new studs. I've ordered some new studs, new piston rings. There's a little bit of surface rust in the cylinder that I'll hone out before I try and blow the cylinder out. And I think I can use the cylinder and the internal parts, but I've got 2 broken studs to get out of the cylinder, and that may be today's work, and one on the side where one of those 3/8 bolts that whatever happened in there, like I just don't know. I can't get into my head how it would have done it, but enough of a hit to break the 2 front studs and shear one of the side bolts off. And you can see where the bolt went through the plate, you can see the threads forced into it, so it's had quite an impact. I've ordered a new relief valve for the pump. I think out of interest I might get the relief valve off the pump and see if I can get my hand pump and just pump it up and see if it was going off. Because this tractor was an orchard tractor with a trailer on the back all the time, and like when we bought it they had to go and find the linkage arms in the shed with other stuff because they were all just chucked over in the dirt out of the way. So the linkage hadn't been used for that long. And so with no linkage use and just the one place, I'm wondering, has the relief valve rusted shut? And when it's got to, someone's hopped on and thought they'd give it a lift and she's just gone bang, and they thought, oh, put the lever back down, don't tell anyone. I don't know. One of the holes where the broken stud was, the broken part was missing on one of them, and there was a heap of silicone down in the hole to stop it leaking. So they didn't need the hydraulics working. So I don't know. Yeah, well, we'll have a look. Going together, I'm going to run through all the adjustments that I can. I'm going to put a new relief valve on the pump, and just to try and cover my arse. I can't actually see what would happen to a tractor that would force that so much, apart from the arms coming right up and the relief valve not kicking out. See, the MF20 doesn't have pressure control or anything like that on it. It's just a straight standpipe, so the relief valve on the pump relieves the pressure, and that's all. So I'm just not sure. It's got the later pump on it. I'll take it for a walk over. I've got to clean the transmission out. It's had milky water in it, and that's why I'm thinking the relief may be stuck. It's got grey watery shit in it. I've had it draining for a few days now. I've got to drain the front gearbox yet, under the 6-speed. I've got to sort that out. It's probably a 4-speed really, an 8-speed. But I've got to clean that housing out, and that this has got there's not many of these pumps around really. It's got the pump, I think it would be 21 spline, but the filter faces down, where normally on your Massey you put your hand in the side, you can undo the filter and gift him up the top. These later tractors, I can remember like on a 290 and 390s and things like that, 399s, the filter goes down, and to get at the filter you drain the oil, and there's 3 bolts, there's a little cap underneath, and you undo the cap undo your filter and replace your filter, and away you go. And so this has got that on it. Been I think a 1978 model we'd worked out. So yeah, it steered nicely. I took it for a bit of a run around the paddock. Just around the front here, and look, it steered well. The steering, we've done a good job on that. I'm happy with that. The video came out on that last week. I may make a couple of power steering hoses up yet. I've done 2 on this side. The other ones are sort of homemade fittings. I might replace them. I do have 2 hoses to fit on, but yeah, but I'll have to cut and shut and put a reusable end on them, which that's no problem. We're happy to do that. But I was thinking of turning it, taking it out and pressure cleaning it because of all the rubbish on the tank. But I thought, well, no, I sort of had it half open, and I'll go ahead with the rear linkage and yeah, do something to that. So I lifted it off with the tools. I bought it quite a while back. I got some tools of a fellow Ivor Miller down in Ballarat way, and he had the thing. It's homemade. He had the thing so you could put it on the hinge pin, then lift the whole thing over and work on it, then lift him back into place. So I've used that. Look, it worked fairly good, but the problem with it now is because we have roll frames on all these tractors, you've got to lever the quadrant past the roll frame. So back in the day when it just had the mud guards on, you could just reef him back over and away you went, no problems at all. But yeah, I had to go and get a bar and get it around there, and I'm going to have to probably do that going back in again, which no problem. If you're out in the bush and you had no lifting gear, well, the handle that you pull it over with, that becomes the stand for you to work on. I'll take the camera over shortly and I'll just show you so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, getting those broken bolts out and the 2 back bolts being bent, well, that'll be a bit of an exercise on its own. I may, and I don't know, I'm going to try and just see if they're easy to get out or not. If they're not, it may go up in the milling machine, and where the broken dags are, they make it hard to drill in the centre. So I can bring an end mill down and tidy up the top and then find the centre, then pop it in the middle and drill it out, sort of thing. So we'll see. I do have some Renegade left-hand drills here. The spin, you've got to spin them backwards, and sometimes they'll bite in and pull them out. So I'll try a few of those things and just see what happens, see what's easy. I think they might be down in the housing a little bit far to weld a nut on and then screw them out. But we'll see. I'll probably have the camera there and go with that if we can. See how we go. I was talking to Phil from CRC through the week, and you all know this stuff, this penetrate, I love it. Yeah, it does. It's a good thing. They're having a thing on penetrate at the moment. We've got brochures at the counter where you can win something, but I've just got them here so I can show you they're modernising the can. So this is the old can that you'll have seen me use. This is the new one. So if you're looking for it, that's the difference. So I think we're just about out of this old can at work, and we're all onto the new ones now and at Queensland Tractor Spares. But that's what the new can looks like, high-speed penetrate. That's good gear. I've got a few of the old cans to use up here because, yeah, when they supplied me with some stuff for the shed here, yeah, I haven't used a whole lot up of what they've given me yet. So I noticed the 556 and a few of those other cans are changing too now. I think the 666 they used to have is going to be 556 Marine or something like that's going on. I'll let you know once I've got it all worked out, or once I've got the new product in the shed. But yeah, we use the Vapor Rust, the Bio Degrees are up there, the Vapor Rust. It's all good gear. Yeah, we're grateful to have it. I think we've even got the bloody hat on today. Oh yeah, bloody company man. Don't worry about me. But look, that's all that's gone on this week. I can't see anything else of interest. I've put a lot of time into this dash, and after work through the week was when I was working on the MF20. So one of those weekends where we had a friend had a birthday yesterday, but we went out for lunch Saturday. And so by the time we went out for lunch Saturday, then Tim and the kids come round for an evening meal Saturday. So I just had an hour or two in there. So while I was clean, I stayed clean. But Saturday morning I got up and I mowed the whole place. The mower deck is good. I was getting a bit of a factory roof look on the mower, and I looked and looked, and I think I might have told you this last week. I'd measure the mower deck and set on my tyre pressures, but once I'd get out, it'd still do a rubbish job. But there was a little lever up in under the chassis, and when you pulled the lever forward to engage the belts, it would just kick the deck a little bit. So I fixed that. Now the place, when I mow it, looks bloody beautiful. Pardon me. So before we went out for lunch Saturday morning, we did the mowing. I did. And Judy's been pruning with the 148. We've got a big heap of stuff to burn one day now again. And yeah, yesterday morning I got a bit of time in the shed, but Tim come and borrowed the ute because they had free dump days, and he'd had an old trampoline they had to get rid of in the backyard and things like that. So him and young Arrow did a dump run, and then they hung around for lunch, and so they'd just left, and an hour or so later Mum turned up for a yarn for the afternoon. So I got Saturday morning working in the shed this weekend. I got Sunday morning, a bit of Sunday morning, and I was running out doing the watering Sunday morning as well. Monday, I'm going to have a day in the shed. Jude's going to work. I might be able to actually get a bit of traction, get stuff done, but that's how it goes. Hey, it's good to stop and have a yarn and things like that. But yeah, if you're on a bit of a mission, it sort of puts a bloody stick in the spokes. Not to worry though, wait. Okay, thanks for dropping by, everybody. I'll shut up. I'll grab the camera. I'll just give you a quick look at what I'm doing and on the Massey 20 and all that. And yeah, look, we'll catch you all next week. There will be I'm pretty sure there'll be an extra video on pulling the 20 apart this week, I think. And I was filming some of what I was doing on the grill too. I don't know if that's of much interest or not, but look, I'll pop it out there. You can make up your mind. You either watch it or you don't, yeah. So anyway, thanks again for dropping by, and we'll catch you all next week, eh? Okay, you can see the orchard's been all mowed and tidy, and I probably should turn the sprinkler on and finish the watering, and hopefully we get a bit of a top up in the tank. I'd rather water the orchard than actually have the tank overflowing and just going nowhere. But yeah, we'll just see what happens there. We'll come back in through the back here. There's a trusty lawnmower. Seems to be a good thing. And got the rust converter, but yeah, that's the grill door. That's the main grill. They've got rust converter on them. So this morning, I think pretty well first up, I'll get a bit of black on that. And the black's got to set entirely before we can mask it up and paint the silver lines on it. So we'll come back over here, and you can see that I've turned the Massey 20 around, and I've got it facing in here now. So we'll come around, try and keep the flare of the door out of it, and that's all the gunk in the bottom of the housing on the Massey 20. That's the relief valve there. So I think it's just 3/8 BSP thread, but you can see the filter going down. Look at the dirt sticks up in here. It's on all the Masseys, that dirt. So yeah, so I've still got to drop the bung for the front gearbox yet, but yeah, that's okay. You can see this little bracket here where you can swing the lift cover off without actually having it leave the tractor. So, and this is what I'm up to there. That's the side panel. So this bracket here, this bolt there, has sheared that there, and this one was still in place. So This is the lift cylinder. You can see this bolt's broken there. The one broken here, that's an older one, I believe. And these studs are actually bent back a little bit. And the reason it wasn't lifting is where this O-ring seals on the housing, just there, the O-ring had sort of blown out the side a bit and it was getting no pressure at all. So I could work the lever with the tractor, I could get oil coming up the standpipe, but no lift at all. Now all the linkages and all down in here, they seem good, like unworn. So the main drama is this lift cylinder. There is a little bit of, whoop, there goes the donkey dick. There's a little bit of rust in the lift cylinder, but I think it's only small, only a bit of surface rust, and I think I can deal with that. So, and that's the stand going underneath it there. The drawbar's nearly in the way, but that's all right, it sort of moves enough. But yeah, all in through here, all the rollers and that seem good, they all seem to turn. So I'm hopeful of keeping all that and doing it. So, and the big engine here, I got the tank on it the other week. I don't know if I'd showed you that or not. I got the stickers on the tank. The taps and dies that I'd ordered for 3/8 NPT to finish the carby here and do some of this piping, they turned up this week, gone. But yeah, I've got the tank on, I've got the decal on the tank. Yeah, so I'll probably try and do a bit of that, perhaps through the week. I'll just see how we go. At the moment, my priority is going to be this Massey, getting it back running. See what turns up through the week with parts, and if I get the parts and I can run through the settings on that, well, we've got another tractor up and running and I can move it around. And once the hydraulics work, Jude's going to take this tractor over. It hadn't got a roof on it, and I might put a canopy on. I think I have one here for it. And I'll probably tidy the tank up and do the tappets. And it's got to have a full service yet, but that's okay. We're just one thing at a time. But at least once it's mobile, and you know, I've got new oil in the back end and things like that, well, it's right to go. Because it's been putting around with trailers on it most of its life, my thoughts are that I might take the slasher off the big John Deere and put the slasher on this and do a slash. That's 3 or 4 hours of fairly hard running for a 35, 40 horsepower tractor. So yeah, that might sort of keep it honest at least. We'll just see how we go with that. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you what we're up to anyway.